Hey everybody, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thank you for joining us here today on YouTube. Be sure to check out RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thank you for joining us here. We're here to answer your Royal Caribbean cruise questions. Starting with the most important cruise question: how many days until your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Type your countdown in chat. Let's count down together. Um, what is my count? I think every week ask you guys how many days till your next cruise, and then I quickly realize I don't have my countdown ready, but it's coming up soon. I'm going to go with actually it is 2 weeks from today. This should be a lot easier than I made it seem. It's January 1st. I'll be on the Mariner of the Sea. So 14 more days till my next cruise. We had some amazing super chatters before our broadcast began, and I'm going to start with their questions. But I'm also here to answer your Royal Caribbean cruise questions. So type your cruise questions in chat. We'll answer them here, starting with Chris Bergeloff. Chris, thank you for the super chat. 48 days till Wonder of the Seas. Do I have to book show reservations once on board like dining, or can I book them after checking in the app, checking in this week? Chris, thank you for the super chat. And the answer is you can book entertainment for a ship like Wonder of the Seas up to 45 days before your cruise. So entertainment will open up a little earlier, so that should be available up to 45 days. It would be available in the app or the cruise planner. I got to be honest with all of you. When it comes to booking anything pre-cruise, dining package, drink package, entertainment, shore excursions, Wi-Fi, I always go through the cruise planner website, not the app. Maybe I'm showing my age, I guess. But I always go through the website. Anyway, 45 days for show reservations. Chris Abram, thank you for the super chat. I've reserved an excursion, but it's gone from the list of excursions. Does not say sold out like others, just gone. Should I cancel and choose another, or should I wait until I get on board and check? Good question. The answer is I wouldn't do anything yet. If you still see it in your booked history and your things you've booked, you're good. And Chris, I've booked excursions that have been canceled by the cruise line, and it's very clear it's been canceled. When they cancel something, they won't just like leave it up in the air. You'll get an email that something's been canceled and blah blah blah. So the fact that it doesn't show on the website isn't necessarily indicative of anything yet. It's more a sign, I think, that maybe you need to maybe give it a little more time. Now, is it a good idea to maybe have a backup, double book something? You could. I wouldn't put it past you. But think it stands to reason that it's still there until it's not. And by that, Royal says something to you. So I hope that makes sense. Desiree Hall, as always, Desiree, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate you. Michelle Taylor, thank you for the super chat, Michelle. I don't see it. Oh, I found Michelle's message. I'm leaving on Mariner this season, 97 days, first cruise in over 7 years. Wow, that is a long time. You are way overdue. Hope you have a great, great time on there. And Whipple, thank you for the super chat. 298 days till back to back on Brilliance. Do we get free internet being in a Grand Suite? You do not. The free internet perk for staying in a Grand Suite would apply to the Oasis, Quantum, or Icon class cruise ships, but not a Radiance class ship, of which Brilliance is. So, no, you don't get free internet with that. I see Craig Hart is in our chat. The Teresa McChain is here as well. Welcome, guys. Jessica Devoto, big guy, is here. Snoop's mom, hello. Jen Green from MEI Travel is here. Hello, Jen. So good to see you. Don and Judy in the house. Pascal, one of our moderators here. Welcome. Lots of great countdowns here. And of course, I'm here to answer your cruise questions, guys. We have the next 55 minutes to answer Royal Caribbean cruise questions. Matt wants to know, how likely will CHOP be completely booked for the entirety of a 9-day cruise? Unlikely. Every day, all times, no. There's usually slots. Now, it might be at like 8:30, or it might be on a port day that conflicts with something, but there's usually slots out there. So if you're worried, Matt, you have a dining package, and you're getting on board the ship, there's not going to be any availability, I wouldn't go quite that far. I wouldn't worry about that. Again, it might not be the optimal time, but to say that it'd be completely sold out for 9 days is unlikely. Christian, thank you for watching us from onboard Anthem of the Seas. Welcome. Glad to have you here. See, our next question is from the Ochoas. Going on Symphony of the Seas in February for the refreshment package, that includes smoothies. It does, as long as it does not include protein powder. Bob wants to know, do I prefer breakfast in the main dining room? I like to think I do, but I really don't. It takes too long. I think I just prefer breakfast in the Windjammer. Just get in, get out, move on to something else. Ready to go. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. There's the question. 40 Days of Symphony. Any restaurant recommendations for Aruba? No. I've been to Aruba a number of times, but every time we go to Aruba, we always stay at a all-inclusive resort. Like we do get a day pass to an all-inclusive resort and maybe eat there. But I've never actually, to the best of my recollection, ever eaten like around the island. So as far as I know, no, I don't have anything that can I can recommend to you, unfortunately. Next question is from Baz. Does the top drinks package, I think you mean the deluxe beverage package, cover cocktails or do you pay extra? If you mean the deluxe beverage package, yes, it includes cocktails. The obviously the refreshment package and the soda package do not. Craig wants to know, do I use luggage tag holders? Worth it or not? I do, Craig. They are so worth it. I love them. In fact, now I've used them. I've seen them for so many years, Craig. What Craig is talking about, I don't have an example nearby, but they're plastic sleeves you can buy like on Amazon, and you put your luggage tag holders in there. Number one, Craig, they're really inexpensive. You know, like it's like a 5-pack is like $20 maybe. It might be even cheaper than that. They last forever, and it just gives me like the reason why you would get these is because by default the paper luggage tags they're made out of paper, so they can easily rip, especially in transit. So by having a plastic holder for it, it eliminates that problem, and we use them all the time, Craig. In fact, when I was on the cruise with you on Serenade of the Seas, I forgot mine at home, and luckily our good friends Mike and Chris Smith lent me one, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'll give it back to you at the end of the cruise, no problem." Yeah, I brought it home. So I owe them a luggage tag holder. P. Cooper going on your first cruise this Sunday. So P. Cooper, what ship, what cabin, and yes or no to the drink package? Like which one? There's many of them, obviously. Let's see here. Dubu Tofu. Final day for my cruise is due by tomorrow, the 19th. Do I have to pay tomorrow by a certain time, like 5 p.m., or do I have until 11:59 tomorrow to pay? I would say number one, it doesn't matter. What I mean by that is, if I were you, I would literally get out of this video call and I would call Royal Caribbean immediately and book or make final payment. The reason is, if that money isn't there when it's supposed to be there for whatever reason, you're going to lose your reservation. So I don't want to scare you, but this is why, like as an example, our friends at MEI Travel, they always take final payment like a week before the real final payment date, just in case there's like, oh, the credit card isn't working, I got to move money around, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, if I were you, I would call now, like literally right now, and get that taken care of. They will cancel your reservation if you don't make it on time. So do yourself a favor, call them now to get that taken care of. Kristen, hey Matt, does the app or the website show the Royal Up bids that I've already made? Not in the app, but in the Royal Caribbean website. If you just Google Royal Caribbean Royal Up, and I think there's a link on the homepage of their website, you can actually go in there, put in your reservation number, your last name, and see your and see your active bids on there. Ronnie, thank you for the super chat, my friend. As always, you are very, very supportive here, Ronnie. Ronnie says, 131 days till Mariner. I'm going to have lunch at Azumi Hibachi, Jamie's and Chops. What's your favorite at each restaurant? Hibachi? I mean, pick your favorite protein. I mean, I don't eat red meat anymore or shellfish, so I'm kind of lame like that. But, obviously the filet is fantastic there. Jamie's, I'm always a sucker for eggplant parmesan. I think I get that every single time. And Chops, filet mignon. I mean, you can make arguments about a lot of different cuts of steak, but there's a reason why filet is filet. So, yeah. Next question is from Sean. 1 month till Icon. I was looking at the prices and they are way, way, way out of line. Expensive. $3,000 a person. I mean, you know why the prices are like that? Because people are paying them. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that that's the reality. This is what the market can bear. And that's kind of where they're going with it. The good news is, of course, while the Icon is expensive, there are other ships out there that you can sail on, and the prices could be much more competitive with there. You could try maybe looking for a last minute deal. But this has always been the case. Whenever there's a brand new ship, the price for that ship will always be more expensive than the ships that came before it because of just supply and demand and the premium that Royal Caribbean places on a new ship. It's not the popular answer. I'm not here to tell you you should like it or you should do it. I'm here to tell you, explain why it is, and if you like it, great. And if not, I'm not. No one's holding it against you by any means. Next question. Bob Newell again, has cruising become your full-time job? Writing about cruising has become my full-time job. I don't cruise full-time, but yes, I know what you meant by that. Just want to make sure it's clear that I'm not cruising all the time. Next question, Michelle Pros. Hello. Dylan, any tips for Harmony of the Seas Family 4 going at end of March? You got to see the Broadway show, Grease. Number 2, don't overlook, I would say equally importantly, see Columbus the Musical. It's a great original production. Very funny. I like that quite a bit. I would also say, for especially Embarkation Day lunch, your natural tendency is to go to the Windjammer. I would say go somewhere else. Go to Park Cafe, book a specialty restaurant, go to the Boardwalk Doghouse if you'd like. But there are some great alternatives beyond the Windjammer. And speaking of alternatives, for breakfast, my favorite go-to breakfast spot on Harmony is Solarium Bistro. Most people don't even know it exists. Far less crowded, great food. You can still get your omelets over there. That's a great choice. So check those things out. Let's see here. Jason, what do you know about Royal Caribbean overbooking and people not knowing until they arrive at the port? It is the very definition of an outlier. I don't know what happened down there in Australia. That was like in my, what year is it? 23. So 13 years of doing RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. This is the first time I've heard of that. I've heard of people getting bumped like, a month or two before their cruise, but never that scenario. So here's what I'll say. That is, to me, number 1, it's an outlier. Number 2, it happened in Australia, and apologies to our Aussie friends. But you guys, for whatever reason, the rules down under seem to be very different than everywhere else. I'm not saying this wouldn't happen in the US or in Europe. I'm simply saying that there have been many cases of things being unique to the Australian cruise market, for better or worse. But again, the reality is that this is very much the first time it's happened. It's an outlier. There's no pattern to it. The people that this happened to had a guarantee cabin, and there were a big group of them also. And the only understanding I've heard, I don't think Will said much on it, but the word on the street, for what it's worth, it could be right, it could be wrong, is that there were some extra COVID cases on board, so they needed more rooms for crew members for quarantine, because Australia has a little more stringent rules with that. Long story short, they ran out of cabins. It doesn't excuse it. Obviously, if it were me, I'd be pretty upset about it too. I look forward to my vacation. But if I'm talking to you, Jason Hicks, what I would tell you is the chances of it happening to you are extremely rare because, again, thus far it has been like that was the only situation I've ever seen that occur. So I'm not here to tell you that it can't happen. I'm saying that it's not a situation of all the problems you could possibly envision. I think there are far more to worry about than that one. But that's just me. Am I going on the maiden voyage of Icon of the Seas? Absolutely, yes. I'll be on the inaugural sailing, January 27th. I'll also be on a 3-night media preview cruise on January 20th. And maybe we'll get on another sailing. You never know. Dave O, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Always a pleasure to see our good friend Dave here. Hey, Matt, 19 days till we're on Ratings of the Season. Met my first Royal Caribbean blog insider last week on Liberty. Joe Mock is a great guy. Love that. Fantastic. Terry, stay safe in New Brunswick, my friend. We had that storm go through over here over the weekend, and it was, no bueno. Hills, how's Adventure of the Seas been going to the Eastern Caribbean? Great ship. I mean, there's no ship that I wouldn't recommend. They're fantastic. So I would simply tell you that I think it's a great ship. It's more when it comes to like when you ask me how's Adventure of the Seas, really, it's more of a question for you in the sense that what are you looking for? Like if you're saying, hey Matt, I really, does it have a feature X, Y, and Z? That would be something to look into. Obviously to make sure that it has that. But on the surface, it's a fun ship to go on, and it's a Voyager class, one of my favorite classes out there. So yeah, you're good to go. Smoky Bandit in the house. Smoky Bandit, big supporter of the luggage tag holders. They really, really do well. Ochoa's best advice for cruising with 20 family members. Number 1, reach out to a good travel agent like MEI Travel. The reason being, it's not just a shameless plug, because it is, but it's not. but it is. But I'm serious. It's not. When you have a group that big, there's a couple reasons why a travel agent is going to be super helpful. Number one, they will make sure everybody makes final payment and arranges payments and does all the little changes. Number two, having a group that big, you're probably going to qualify for a group with Royal Caribbean. And by everybody booking with the same travel agent, you can get free things, free money, free events on board. You only stand to benefit from doing so. In terms of your family members beyond the booking process, I would also recommend you do things like, you don't want to schedule every minute of your day together. Like, Tony Diaz always wants to spend all his free time on board a cruise ship with Teresa, but Teresa's like, I'm not having that, bro. Anyway, instead, what you should do is maybe plan like one time a day to meet up. Some people feel like they're doing their own thing, but they're still together. Dinner is always a great, easy choice for that. Maybe say, hey, you guys do whatever you want to do, but dinner time, all 20 of us are going to be in the same place at the same time. And maybe pick one fun shore excursion to do together, if not more than that. That's like a basic starting point. Just don't feel like obliged to like over plan is what I'm trying to say. Next question. All right, so Ron Ladowski recommends Madame Jeanette for dinner in Aruba. I hope that's a real restaurant, Ron, because it sounds like it's something else. But hey, listen, if it's the name of a restaurant, fantastic. Love it. Next question is from Chrissy. On the Royal Caribbean, do you need to use American cash? I'm Australian. Yeah, so Royal Caribbean operates with US dollars. So yes, you'll need to convert the currency, and you can do that at guest services, but I advise you bring US dollars on board. And the only reason you would need US dollars, Chrissy, is really to tip, is in the casino. If you wanted to tip somebody in cash, I would suspect that I don't know that the crew members would have a problem if you tipped them in dollary dues, but they might prefer USD. I'm sure like anything, but just, it's easier to use US dollars and all things. That's really the only reason, and of course, shore excursions and whatnot. But on board the ship, it's cashless. So obviously, if you never play in the casino, you could go without using any cash, dollary dues or otherwise. Next question is from Dave Stanton. I'm going to Cocoa Beach Club this summer. What do you recommend at the restaurant? Ooh, the filet mignon is fantastic. The lobster, I don't eat lobster, but I've heard very, very good things about the lobster. The rum cake is really good. I like that quite a bit. Chris Stell, thank you for the super chat. 42 days till independence till so excited about 42 days till independence till I realize y'all will be on Icon. It'll be hard to be excited and jealous at the same time. You'll have a great time, dude. I mean, being on board a cruise ship is better than no cruise ship at all. So yeah, maybe a little FOMO, but still, I'm sure you'll have a great time on Independence of the Seas. Gerald wants to know, what's the best destination in the Caribbean to do a snorkeling excursion? Definitely the Western Caribbean, Cozumel, Belize, Roatan to a lesser degree. Those would be the best ports for snorkeling. There's just more to see down there. It's more beautiful. David, is the ultimate dining package purchases can now pre-book reservations instead of having to wait to get on board? No, not yet. It's coming sometime next year, but it's not available yet. TC, thank you for the super chat. Happy holidays to you and your family. Yes, happy holidays to all of you guys. I know next Monday is Christmas. I guess we won't do a broadcast next Monday. Doesn't really matter to me because I don't celebrate Christmas, but I want you to all feel like you have time to spend with your family. On the other side, it's like, well, maybe you want to spend all time with your family in the morning, and by the evening, you're kind of done with everyone. But anyway, I digress. Maybe we'll push that off. Actually, the day after is my birthday, so maybe we'll do it on my birthday because I like talking cruising, and then it won't be Christmas anymore. So, yeah, I say we'll figure it out. By the way, I also want to take a quick moment here, timeout, and say thank you to our insiders and to our Royal Caribbean Blog Club members. If you're a Royal Caribbean Blog Club member, thank you. And on top of that, our club members get the exclusive access to our Q&A recap from this video. We do a weekly recap. It's now exclusively available to the club members on Wednesdays. So if you were a club member, hopefully you saw that video last week. You can still watch it if not. But anyway, big shout out to the club members. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Next question is from, hey, Tony Diaz. Ron F., thank you for the super chat. Just booked Utopia of the Seas for September. Super excited. I love that adrenaline rush you get from booking a new cruise. Like, it becomes like there's there's like an evolution. Like at first, it's like a passing thought. Like, what if we booked another cruise? And then you start looking into it, right? And you consider the options, and you're like, you kind of hem and haw about it. Like, well, rarely is it like a super slam dunk, like it's boom within like 2 seconds you book it. You're looking at it, you're repricing, you're looking at other options, you're looking at why you pick one ship over another, and you kind of go through all the motions, right? And then maybe you have to talk to your spouse or other family members, friends about, hey, should we do this? Should we actually make it happen? But then when you actually book it and you see the cruise in your account, dude, that's a great feeling right there. It is really, really nice. Trinity, excursion recommendations for Costa Maya. We're going on this Saturday and porting on Christmas. It might not be available anymore, Trinity, because you're booking way at the last minute here. But Maya Chan is what I would recommend. It's not the Royal Caribbean. You have to Google it. Maya Chan. Tell them I sent you. They're fantastic. They're really, really good spot. I love that. The bus ride there stinks. Once you get there, you will thank me later on. It's really, really good. Next question is from Zachary. Thank you for the super chat, Zach. First cruise on Symphony, January 21st. All right, Zach. I forgot I asked this question already to somebody and totally missed it in there. The response. But what kind of cabin do you have, and did you buy the drink package? I'm just curious. As a first, wait, is it your first time or is it your first cruise on you've cruised before, but first time on Symphony? Either way, I already asked you. So am I going to start this season? I am. I booked the inaugural for that one as well. It's part of my job, kind of, mostly. I see Angie in the chat. Hello, Angie. Where's the best place to eat on Icon? I don't know. I haven't been there yet. Ask me again a month from now. Let's see here. All right, so Devin says, my wife and I just got off our first Royal Caribbean cruise, the Freedom of the Seas. It was amazing. We had the drink package with no alcohol. We had a lot of alcohol for it. So you had the Royal Refreshment package. Great. I'm always curious. The reason why I'm asking people this question is I'm way too like inside baseball to have a real sense of like how popular, truly popular, things like the drink package are, what type of cabins, new cruisers are booking. I'm always curious about that. So I feel like this is a good anecdotal option. Jennifer Green from MEI Travel. Thank you for the super chat. Matt, if you book with MEI Travel Agent, they will send you a luggage tag. Is that really a thing? That's all. Well, you're saying it's a thing, so I guess it's a thing now. I mean, listen, I would have told you should book with a great travel agency anyway. But hey, that's an added benefit right over there. Fantastic. Next question. Sorry, I was just trying to find a thread of comments in the chat there. Spencer, go to Alaska on Ovation in May. Any suggestions for place to see in ports? All right. So there's a couple things, Spencer, and I don't want to. I sometimes feel bad about being like, "Hey, Spencer, go to this link," because it seems like a cheap answer to you. But I'm going to tell you that I really believe this is the best answer in this situation. If you go to royalcaribbeanblog.com/Alaska, royalcaribbeanblog.com/Alaska, we have a list of great spots chosen by a local who lives in Alaska of cool things to do in every single one of those ports. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of choices in each of the ports, and depending on what you're looking for, you may or may not find, one tour may be more appealing than another. But I want you to be able to see that because I think it's really going to be helpful for you. Molly, who's one of our writers, she lives in Kodiak Island, and she came up with this awesome list. I used this list myself when I went to Alaska, and these choices were all fantastic. So royalcaribbeanblog.com/Alaska, and you'll find in there locals guide to Juneau, Skagway, Sitka, and you'll be able to get some good recommendations for those. I would say one thing I will add, and it's on her list, I'm pretty sure, but in Juneau, go to Mendenhall Glacier Park. It is fantastic. Yoink, thank you for the super chat, Yoink. Thank you for your help. Savings a lot for three times a year with my 8-year-old son in Royal Caribbean. First time on an Oasis class this summer. Symphony, nice. Well, I'm so glad to hear you're going to check out Symphony of the Seas, your first time on an Oasis class. Let me know what you think when you get back. Some of the differences right there. Is this true, Jace? You've never been on a cruise before? Haven't you been in our chat for years? Or is there another JC? Anyway, I'm just genuinely surprised. I would have thought 5 minutes ago, I would have said, no, JC's been on a cruise before. He's not a first timer. Let's see here. Lindy, thank you for the super chat. Symphony in 54 days. Going to Curacao. Are the taxis safe to bring you to a beach? Absolutely yes. I mean, listen, there's risk with everything, so I don't want to. I should probably preface that by saying there's always risk. You never know. But I certainly, Lindy, personally, would not think twice about using a taxi in Curacao. I would have no problems with that at all. Next question is from Sarah. Any ideas why coupons or discounts aren't just automatic when you hand over to your CPass card? Hard to remember to either ask or keep track of how many coupons you've used. Great question. And the answer is because they want you to forget about it and spend your money. The onus is on you to save money in the same way, Sarah, that if you go to your grocery store and I don't know, this is still a thing. You got to clip coupons. Maybe I'm like dating myself here on this one. But anyway, regardless of that, they want you to forget, but the onus is on you to use it. Plus, Sarah, the other issue, and some people would bring this up as a reason why they don't want Royal Caribbean to automatically redeem, Crown and Anchor discounts or coupons for like the buy one get one drink, is because sometimes people save those. They want to stockpile them for a certain day, time, place, and so they wouldn't want it to be used automatically. So for those reasons, I think that's probably the answer to your question. Cindy is checking in from the Crown Lounge on Wonder of the Seas. Oh, I can picture exactly what that lounge looks like and how much I wish I was there right now. That would be amazing. Have a great time on board your cruise. We have some more super chats. You guys are amazing. Lauren Lisco, thank you for the super chat. How far ahead can I book my time reservations? Is there, well, far in advance, guys, is there like an actual time window? Like, is there actually like a number of days? I don't think there is. I think it's like shore excursions and Wi-Fi and everything else in the cruise planner. One day it just magically appears there. So yeah, I don't know if there is one or not. You have stumped me. Or someone's gonna say me the answer like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's really dumb. I should have known that. Next question. Let's see here. Miss Kazumi, how many people do you need? How many people do you need for this kind of rates with groups or travel agents? Actually, here's the really interesting thing. So I talked about the group rates. Sometimes you don't need a group. You can be by yourself. This happens to me all the time. I book with MEI Travel and I'm like, all right, I want to book this sailing on this ship. And they will tell me, great news, we got you a better rate because we have something called an agency rate. So let's say the agency, MEI Travel, is organizing a group for Tony Diaz, right? And they love Tony. Kind of a pain, but they love him. Cute, cuddly, loves his head rubbed, right? That kind of a guy. Anyway, he's booked on the same sailing that you want to go on. It doesn't matter. There's no reason why they can't book you and get that special rate as well. And this is one of the major benefits of booking with a good travel agency. So you don't need a group, but if you're gonna if you already have like 20 people or so, the magic number, by the way, is 8 cabins. I should answer your question more directly. But I want to make it clear you don't actually need to have a group in order to get potentially a better rate. Keep that in mind. Ray and Nancy Cruisers, thank you for the super chat. 19 days till Odyssey, 89 till Jewel, 1146 till Harmony, and 279. How did you get 1,000 days till Harmony and 279? That's probably a typo. 146, I'm guessing. What do you recommend to do in Aruba? I actually recommend in Aruba Palm Beach or Eagle Beach. What I always go is I go to resortforaday.com. I find a resort in Aruba and I always book it over there. It's really good in Aruba. So yeah, really nice. Next question. We have another super chat coming in. Derek Miller. Derek, thank you for the super chat. Happy holidays. Got my first cruise March 2024. Planning my second cruise through Lindy at MEI Travel as we speak. Hi, Lindy. And Eric is on warm weather ports for the end of January, early February 30th anniversary. Well, the warmest ports will be the Southern Caribbean. So Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, the ABC Islands. That's going to be the hottest weather. It's going to be like 86 over there. It's 86 there year round. The next best place, in my opinion, is Mexico, Cozumel, Roatan. Roatan's in Honduras, I know. That'd be like my next best choice. And then the final choice would be the Eastern Caribbean, like San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Kitts, somewhere along there. And I'm ranking these purely in warmness of temperature. Of course, cold fronts can come through at any time, but that's how I would look at it in that regard. Bethy wants to know, is a drink package worth on a 7-day cruise? As long as you can drink enough every day to make it worthwhile, yes. What I mean by that is it can absolutely save you money, but it's up to you to get your money's worth out of it, if that makes sense. But it can absolutely save you money. Keith B, thank you for the super chat, Keith. Getting all choked up here. Keith, I don't know if I see a message. Oh, I found it. How was the check-in for Icon? I heard the app didn't work at midnight, and I checked in for the second sailing in 2 days. I can be honest. Can I be honest with you guys? I didn't check in at midnight. I woke up at 8 a.m. I saw there were 7,000 messages from Tony Diaz, and then I just checked in at 9 o'clock. So I had no problem. Admittedly, I got a 1 o'clock check-in time, but I didn't check in at midnight. I heard stories. So here's what I tell you, though. In retrospect, don't do it. The app was problematic. The website was not. Meaning, you know that little message like, "Hey, you can't check in yet." It was gone instantly on the website, but lingered a little longer on the app. So that's how I would recommend you going through it in case you run into that situation. Tai Wu Lee, as always, Tai Wu, thank you so much for your super chat, my friend. Appreciate you so much. Tai Wu, I don't know if you have usually you don't have a message. But if I do see a message from you, Taiwu, I owe you about 17 messages. Mary Ellen, what's the most economical way to buy bottled water on board from an 8-day cruise? There you can usually, well, you can buy a water package before your cruise on the cruise planner. I mean, it's Evian. You might say, well, man, I really want Evian. I just want bottled water. And then you just buy them individually. That's an option for you. You can get you get the Royal Refreshment package, which includes water and other drinks. You can make an argument that if you're going to get not only bottled water, but you might also want, sodas and coffee, like premium coffees, like lattes, mocktails. You could go down that avenue. But if you're saying, Matt, all I want is bottled water, number one, you can bring up to 12 bottles of water on board the ship to begin with. So keep that in mind. That's per cabin. So you could do that. And then you could buy bottles of water as you go. They're kind of pricey. It's kind of weird. It's like $3 a bottle. But if you bring 12 bottles of water on board and you only need like three more, but paying for 3 bottles of water is going to be cheaper. So something else to keep in mind. One other thing to remember also, Mary Ellen, is actually I don't know if this is true. I was going to say you could bring bottled water from a port of call. Like if you're in Cozumel, they don't care and they might have an issue. They don't care if you're bringing out. They care if you bring alcohol back on board or food. I've never tried bringing a 12-pack back on board. Anyway, never mind that. Just bring your own 12-pack of water on embarkation day, and then and then pay for whatever you need beyond that. I think it's probably going to be, unless you're drinking a lot of water, I think that's probably your best bet. Spencer, you are very welcome. Nick, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Matt, I'm going on Wonder, and I've booked an Ocean View. Never stayed in one, and I'm worried if I'll like it. Pros and cons. So I'm assuming you mean Ocean View like a window, not a porthole, not a balcony. The pros and cons of an Ocean View cabin are as this. The benefit is it has natural light, unlike an inside cabin. It has a little more room than an inside cabin, and it's cheaper than a balcony. The downside is you have no airflow. Like you have no natural airflow. You have an air conditioner, but you have no natural airflow. So you may not have you can't open up your window. You can't look around. You don't get that. A balcony is going to have a lot more space, like both living space and, of course, the balcony space that's there. And depending on where your balcony or your ocean view cabin is, again, I would argue that could be true of any cabin category. But sometimes people get like ocean view cabins that are all the way in the front. I don't love those. But if you're like midship, might not be terrible. Also, one other thing to keep in mind with ocean view cabins is they're almost always on a low deck, like deck 2 or deck 3. The nice thing about being that low is that you're able to, well, number one, anything that's on a low deck, you have easy access to, like the gangway, dining rooms, maybe the promenade. But obviously, you're much further away from the pool deck. So something to keep in mind. Lauren Lisco, thank you for the super chat again. Happy holidays. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Lauren, for being here. There are some people that we just know your name because you're here all the time. Lauren, you are definitely one of them. So I'm going to start using you, Lauren, in my example instead of Tony. He's so 2023. We need 2024 is the year of Lauren Lisco. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Ed S. Ed, thank you for the super chat. Looking at Alaska, Ovation or Serenade? Boy, that is a tough question. There's pros and cons to both. So, hold on. Are we back? All right. My computer crashed. Like hard crash, like no error message, just dead. So sorry about that. So I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the creeps, and I've lost the sweeps. So do I have like the super chats at least? Yes. So I apologize. I won't be able to show you the messages on screen here. Where did I lose everybody? Tai Wu, I got you. Lauren Lisco, I was saying nice things about you. Oh, Ed. Ed's message. Alaska Ovation or Serenade of the Seas. I would recommend to you so there's pros and cons. Ovation is a better. There's more to do on the ship. There's more dining on the ship. It's easier to fly into Seattle. Cheaper to fly into Seattle, but the itinerary is not as good per se. You don't go to as many ports as you do on Serenade of the Seas. Serenade goes out of Vancouver. It's a smaller ship. There's less to do on board, but you go to better ports, and it's probably going to be cheaper. Like the cruise fare will be cheaper, maybe not the airfare. And the answer is obviously do both. Ronnie Bickers, Ronnie, boy, if your super chat's not in your message, I definitely lost that. I don't think I have that, Ronnie, so I apologize. Ronnie, if you can type your super chat again in chat, I'll answer it for you. Yoink, please do a review of the Baja Mar Nassau. I should do that actually, Yoink. Yoink is referring to in Nassau. There was a resort for a day for Baja Mar, and I've wanted to do it, and I haven't done it yet. So the next time I go, not on Icon, I won't do it there. But the next time I'm in Nassau on like a regular, non-amazing new ship sailing, I would love to do that. I think it'd be fun. So thank you for the recommendation. And Yoink, please remind me to, you don't have to do a super chat again, but like remind me when I forget inevitably about it. Big guy, thank you for the super chat. Does the check-in freeze at midnight or should I do it on the website? No. The issue we were talking about the check-in earlier, that was related to Icon and like a weird snafu. Almost always it works fine at midnight. You'll be fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Dave O, since you asked, we had thank you for the super chat, Dave. Since you asked, we had an aft cabin on Liberty, our very first one. We loved it. Start view is the best view. I think you mean start is obviously a typo there, but yeah. Spencer, I think I might actually have Spencer's message here. Hold on. Nope, I don't. Wait, yes. I thought I saw it. No, I don't. Okay. Spencer, thank you for the super chat, Spencer. Glad to catch a live stream while researching my first cruise. If you only plan to book one specialty restaurant, which do you recommend on Ovation? You know, a lot of people would point Chops. It's hard to go wrong with Chops. I love Chops. I'm going to say Chops Grill. I like Izumi too. I love Izumi, but yeah. So I'm going to say odds are Chops. You can't go wrong with Chops. That's all I'll say. Let's see here. Desmond, is the key package worth it, or should I buy the internet package by itself? I've said this for many, many years. I don't think the key is worth it at all. So in this case, I would say pay for it on your own. Yep. I didn't get jammed. Strawberry jam. That can only be one person. Pull mask down. Lone Star. Tyson, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. I will keep an eye out for your message. Ronnie, thank you for the super chat once again. What's your thoughts on the recent changes to the photo benefits for Crown and Anchor? It's better. The older one was like a BOGO deal. This is like straight up 30 or 15% off one. I like it better. So I think it's great. Next question is from Autumn Rogers. We have booked a guaranteed suite on Wonder of the Seas. What is the pros and cons of booking this type of cabin? The pro is you're going to pay less for the suite than you would if you picked it specifically. But the con is you won't know where the room is located or even the category of it until it's assigned to you. So you're going to play a little bit of a waiting game. You're sitting in limbo for a little bit. Isn't Serenade currently on a round the world cruise? It is, yeah. It'll end next year, so people could have it. But in 2025, Serenade returns to Alaska. So I think that's probably where they're going with that question earlier. That's what happens when you disrespect Tony Diaz. Probably true. Tyson, thank you for the super chat earlier. Would you take a Jeep tour with a guide in Cozumel where you drive? I have two younger kids. The Jeep tour is fine. I wouldn't recommend driving in Mexico, you're the driver. The Mexican laws about car accidents are they're not a civil matter, they're a legal matter. Anyway, there's corruption with the police. Never mind that. If you're going to do Cozumel, and you want to do a tour. That's a great idea, but have someone else do the driving. Plus, that allows you to have a margarita or four on there. So yeah. Lori wants to know, why can't they add the drink package to the cruise price? Well, they can, in the sense that now, actually, when you book a cruise, you can buy the drink package there. But you're probably asking me, Lori, or sorry, you're Lori. I'm Matt. Matt, why can't they bake it into the price? And the answer is because Royal Caribbean's whole price structure has always been to make it more modular. Because if they make it part of the price, you're effectively paying for it. The price will go up to match it, essentially. Now, listen, as somebody who always gets the drink package, or almost always, I'd be all for that. But there's a lot of people who don't drink that much and wouldn't want it. And they'd rather pay less for the cruise and then have the choice of getting it. And that's essentially why they do what they do. Helps them advertise a lower price, gives people the choice of getting a drink package, and so forth. Jaden, what is the rule with personal water bottles on board? Can I fill them at Cafe Promenade? Yes, you can totally bring them on board. You just can't fill them directly. But what you can do is take a cup, get a cup, dump it in your water bottle, and you're good to go. Next question is from A Dibbles. Matt, when you specify you need to drink at least 7 drinks for the deluxe package, do you mean all different types of drinks or alcohol to make up the price? Good question, and I should be more specific on that, so my bad. When I say 7 drinks, I'm really talking cocktails, because a cocktail is the most expensive option that's included with the package. So it feels like, to me, that's easier math. Obviously, you could have 5 cocktails, but also 2 coffees, a bottle of water, and a partridge in a pear tree, and be able to break even that way too. There's multiple ways to break even. 8 Dibbles. I just use the cocktails because they're the most expensive item. I think most people end up ordering the most of them anyway, because that's why they got the deluxe beverage package, and it just makes the easiest math. What is your favorite category of ship? Is it Oasis? I think so. I love the Voyager class, and I love the Radiance class, and heck, the Freedom class for different reasons. But I would say, all things being equal, I would probably pick the Oasis class. I just like the variety. I love how much choice there is on board. That really stands out. Dave E, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. 62 days till Harmony of the Seas. You are very welcome. Next question. Hey, Matt, currently I'm going to be a platinum member of the next sailing. There will be a Crown and Anchor event on board for platinum members and above. Do you think they'll let me be part of this event? Technically, no. When you move up to a status, Carolina, your new benefits, your platinum status, takes place on the next cruise. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to care. They probably will let you in anyway, because the event is not usually they're not usually that stringent about it. So I think you could probably sneak your way in there. Not that you're sneaking, but you can probably just walk in without saying anything, and I doubt anybody says anything to you. But technically, no, your benefits begin on the next sailing. I just think, unlike a diamond drink or some other benefit that has true benefits there, I would say I think that they probably won't mind too much with that one. They don't usually pay that close attention to it because it's not that much of a big deal. And then it's a big deal, but it's not like a big deal, like in the sense of you're really they're really keeping track of it. That's a good point. Ron Ledowski bringing up an excellent point. If you book Star Class, the deluxe beverage package is included in the cruise price. Yes, you're paying a lot. I don't know. I'm not sure that really solves the original problem there, but yes, you're absolutely right. So Laura says, but give us the choice. If we book the drink package, we have to put it on the charge card and then pay interest on it. So let me answer this one. You can do this. When you book, this got changed, Lori, earlier this fall, like a month or 2 ago. But if you go to the Royal Caribbean website or your travel agent, I imagine, and Jen Green, keep me honest here from MEI Travel. If you go to the website right now and you go to book a cruise, they will give you the option of rolling it in. They'll say, would you also like to buy gratuities and travel insurance and a drink package? And that's now an option in there. But yeah, so I hope that answers. I think maybe that's what you're going for, and that is an option that was just recently added. Hiking, cross country skiing. If the key is only a couple more dollars an internet package, the embarkation of lunch and chops makes it a value. Why do you always say it's not worth it? Because the benefits sound better than they are. Meaning, when you look at the piece of paper, you say, wow, these benefits look really great. The problem is, in practice, they're not that great. And I understand the argument that if the key is I don't even know what the price, $30, 29.99 a day, and the internet is 24.99 a day or something like that. Here's a couple things to remember. Number one, you need to buy the key for everybody who's above the age of 6 in your cabin. So I don't know if you have kids, but maybe your kids don't need that kind of stuff to begin with, right? Number two, a lot of the perk is very front loaded on embarkation day. Yes, you get embarkation day lunch at Chops. I mean, I would argue, number one, you could book Chops lunch on your own. Number two, you could just forego Chops lunch and have a great lunch somewhere else, and you know, uh, do something else. Windjammer, Park Cafe. They're not the same quality. I'm not pretending they are, but you don't need to have embarkation day lunch at Chops. It's certainly nice. But a lot of the other benefits are simply just not like the reserve times for the activities like water slides. They're always terrible times. They're either way early in the morning or they're during a port day in which you probably already have a shore excursion booked that conflicts with it. The priority check-in is nice, except if you get your check-in time 30 days before your cruise, you're going to get a very similar time to that anyway. Um, I just with a little bit of footwork, you can replicate many of the benefits on your own with the key. I just don't think it's worthwhile. It just doesn't really do much. I think the benefits sound better than they are. Let's see here. Hey, Dibbles, you are very welcome. Joe, so has Icon been crowned the largest ship on Earth yet, or is it not official to the inaugural sailing? Technically, I think it's not official to the inaugural sailing. I mean, she's part of the fleet, but not sailing yet. So I'm not the arbiter of what makes it, but I would say not until January 27th, 2024, does Icon officially become the world's largest cruise ship on Earth. Yeah. So Jen, you can't do that. That's very interesting because that's available on the website. That the drink package. Um, yes, Jen says we can't roll in drinks or gratuity and insurance. We can roll into the cruise fare. We made it final. Now I would argue, and thank you for correcting me on this one. I would argue, going back to the question we were talking earlier about the drink package and being able to book it at the time of booking. As soon as you book your cruise, as soon as you have the reservation number, you can go in and book it. So let's go back to the original thing. If you book the cruise and Jen Green says, "Great, you're booked," right? Charges your credit card right then and there. You can go in and book the drink package that same day because you're gonna have your reservation number. And on your credit card's billing cycle, it's gonna be in the same thing. It's gonna be two different line items. You'll see Royal Caribbean and Royal Caribbean. Is there a difference? Does that really matter? Unless you're trying to not itemize it, I guess. The Teresa McChain, thank you for the super chat. What will Tony Diaz be doing in 40 days? I know where his friends will be. Some tough love right there. Larry, is the fanfare about Icon taking away from interest in Utopia? Yes and no. So obviously, listen, Icon is the very first in the Icon class. Royal Caribbean is making it a huge deal. Whereas Utopia, still a new ship, is the 6th in the class of Oasis class. Still a new ship, but it's not going to get as much attention because it's the 6th in the class. In the same way that when Star of the Seas comes out, it will probably not have nearly as much hype or fanfare as Icon did. The reality of the cruise industry there. Hope that makes sense. All right, guys. On that note, I'm going to head on out of here. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your helpful information. I know we had that issue earlier with my computer crashing, but I hope that you all understand that. Next week is Christmas on Monday, so I guess we won't do the broadcast on Christmas Day. I'll save it for. How about we do it on next Tuesday, which will be my birthday? I'd much rather talk cruising on my birthday than any other day of the year. So I think it's a great idea. I'm going to say, let's do that. So we'll plan for it next Tuesday instead of Monday. Anyway, thank you so much for our super chatters. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Dave E. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Dave O. Thank you, Big Guy. Thank you, Yoink. Ronnie, thank you. Ed S. Thank you. Lauren Lisco, thank you. Nick, thank you. Taiwu, thank you. Keith B. Thank you. Derek Miller, thank you. Ray and Nancy, thank you. Lauren Lisco, thank you again. Lindy Chamber, thank you. Yoink, thank you. Jen Green from MEI Travel, thank you. Zachary Zada, thank you. Ron F, thank you. TC, thank you. Christelle, thank you. Dave O, thank you. Ronnie, thank you again. Ready to go, thank you. Ann Whipple, thank you. Michelle Taylor, thank you. Desiree, thank you. Chris Abram, thank you. And Chris Bergeloff, thank you so much. Guys, have a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a wonderful week, everyone. Stay safe out there. Do something fun like book a cruise, and we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. Everyone.